Hi there, my name's Jake. Welcome back to The Culture Business. This is a channel that talks about business in a broad spectrum, not just looking at profit and loss, the things that you typically get told about in business. So if you haven't watched one of our videos before, then I hope you enjoy, like and subscribe. Just before we get started as well, do follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Culture Business. Today is my final episode of the control series that we've been doing. We've talked about scientific management and normative control, and this week we're talking about neo-normative control. The usual format that we take is we talk a little bit about history and then go into the pros and cons, etc., etc. But this week it's a little bit different because there isn't really a history of neo-normative control. It's the most modern management technique that we'll be covering on this channel. Neo-normative control is made from within business. It's not like the others that we've talked about from scientists and theorists. It's very much developed from these modern conglomerates that we see today. Neo-normative control, for me anyway, is very hard to get my head wrapped around, and that's why we're going to talk about it in the most simplest way possible, which is how it is different from normative control. Because obviously, if you guess from the name, neo-normative control is a derivative from normative control, and focusing on the difference shows us how it's developed and changed within business. So if you haven't watched the normative control video, then make sure to click the link above to go to that right now before we get stuck in. Number one is the blending of home life and work life. Not only is non-work activity used to benefit the company's goals, such as maybe fitness classes, sports activities, or healthy breakfast provided, but you're expected, because of this merging, to run your life kind of as a business, or at least manage it in some way. It's no longer just leisure time, you get to do what you want. You are working for the company while you are awake, essentially. And this makes your life more efficient, or at least benefits the company more efficiently. And point two is be yourself. Because there's no difference between work and home life, you are yourself at work as much as you would be while you're at home. And what we see here is that you are often encouraged to bring your fun side to work. So what are the limitations of this? Because it is the extreme of human resource theory, workers should enjoy it, right? The first thing to remember is that this is a form of control, but it's thinly veiled of providing everything that you could possibly need. You could live at Google headquarters because it has breakfast, lunch, dinner provided, sports activities, things to do with your friends. At least in scientific management, you know that you're being worked hard, but you know you can stop. And the question is really, is this moral? Is this the right thing to do? And this leads to inauthenticity. This comes from the fact that, again, you don't really feel like you're being controlled. Although everyone is told that they're an individual, the company is making you do things that they want to achieve. And this is your whole life now. You don't get a break from it. There isn't as many people criticizing neo-normative control because it's better working at Google than on a production line at Amazon, right? And this may stem from the fact that it is a very complex form of control. And you really need to understand it by studying management, psychology, or organizational behavior. So what do I think? I mean, it's a pretty difficult question to weigh up the pros and cons, and really it just depends on what sort of person you are. In my opinion, this form of control does show a step in the right direction because it shows the change of the attitude of the employees as thinking about people who work for them as just employees to people that have a life outside work, and moreover a life that is affected significantly by the work that they do. So firms are starting to reach into that life and offer guidance and support to help people reach their own goals. As we mentioned earlier in the video, this does come with trade-offs, one of which is investing a lot of time into the company in often quite high-pressure situations. Firms such as Google and Netflix use neo-normative control. And as someone personally in my early 20s, just done a master's and wants to throw themselves into the world of work as much as they can, this is a great opportunity. But someone who's maybe pushing towards the other end of the scale and thinking about retirement soon, this might not be the right stage to start working in a company that has a neo-normative control in operation. The trouble then is when people start to feel trapped, when they don't necessarily have the backgrounds in psychology, organizational behavior and management to know what these firms are doing. they start to feel obligated to spend all hours God sends working for this company, and it's not always healthy.